Hi, and welcome back, all of you. I'm excited to hop into our first game of the evening, which I've entitled Out of Circulation, but as always, before I do so, we're going to just take a minute and introduce our players tonight. So, without further ado, first up here we have, I can't, usually I look at the screen to see. First up here we have Lil Bunny Fufu. Lil Bunny, welcome back.
Oh, the voices are real.
Yes, the voices are indeed real. I understand you had a bit of a strange experience in your kind of first adventure out amongst the lands of DnDTime.
Was it strange? Little Booper told me that'd be a little weird, but I didn't know what to expect. So, is that not normal?
I would say that your experience last week was definitely atypical, although some odd things certainly do happen. Yes. Little Bunny Fufu, since I suppose we haven't properly spoken yet, how are you? What brings you to the land of DnDTime?
I'm here to make friends.
Oh, yes, of course.
Little Booper said this is a good place to make friends.
I think it certainly is. Have you made any friends yet in your first excursion, despite the kind of oddities of it?
I think so. I told the girl to call me. I don't think she did yet.
We'll have to wait and see if that call ends up coming through. And from what I've heard, Little Bunny Fufu, you have a little bit of a temper.
No, of course not. I hate fighting.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I must have been mistaken. Anyway, Little Bunny Fufu, welcome back.
Thank you.
Very good. Next up, we have with us another returning from last week and another adventurer who I'd like to promise you, perhaps these adventures aren't quite as strange as you were led to believe. Frostbyte.
Hello, it's good to be here. I'm happy to find out that last week is not a common occurrence.
Yes, that is not an indication of what is normal here in the land of DnDTime. So Frostbyte, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What is your what brings you to the land of DnDTime?
I'm here on the behest of I guess you could call them the Queens of the Hive.
Yes. And do they have any particular mission or goals for you here in the land of DnDTime, or are you just more here for research and kind of learning about Bartholomew's adventuring troupe?
Well, I was sent here to gather information on the various lands of DnDTime and then report back to the Queens, but I figured what better way to gather information than through the use of Bartholomew's adventuring group.
I mean, that certainly makes sense. The kind of hands-on experience will give you a much better sense of the picture, so to speak. Frostbyte, welcome back, and I look forward to seeing you out in the adventuring fields this evening. Next up, we have a returning adventurer, also a lot of the same group kind of back together again from last week. We have Zewxip. Zewxip, how are you?
We're doing very well, thank you. We've managed to warm up since last.
Yes, I understand it was very cold in some of the places that you were. I suppose it's just kind of the time of year as well. Winter is kind of gripping the lands of DnDTime, although spring's around the corner. What is Zewxip's favorite season? Do you like summer? Do you like spring?
Well, summer is a joyous time full of warmth, but you know that the days are only going to be growing shorter, so perhaps springtime is much better. There's a bit of a chill in the air, but every day is a little longer, a little brighter, and you see more and more of yourself awaken across the world where you planted your... Oh, I shouldn't probably talk about that.
Yes. We can just go far as to say there is new life abound.
Yes, that is very appropriate, and something that my lover and I have been talking about.
Well, Zewxip, welcome back, and I'm glad to hear that things are perhaps looking up in your near future, it would seem. And by that mouth clear, last but not least, we have Zrark, Drex. Welcome back, Zrark.
Greetings!
And greetings to you as well. Zrark, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and it's been ages since I've had some fun.
Yes, you sound very jovial, very excited to hop into today's adventures.
Yeah, because you want to know why? Because I haven't had an adventure in a while. It's been pretty boring. Sorting out treasure's not as fun as it looks.
Yes, that is the I suppose the downside of all of the kind of treasure hunting that you do. Just like they don't show in any of the the theatrical dramas, they don't show you the scenes where the pirates have to go back and organize their findings. That's kind of
Yeah.
what you've been up to lately, Zrark.
Yeah, but you know what? It's worth it in the end because everything's worth plundering nowadays.
Well, I mean, I suppose so. Do you expect? It looks like from what you've heard about the upcoming adventure, that there's going to be a great deal of money on the line in this one. It's about kind of old currencies and so on and so forth.
Old currencies, treasure. Oh,
Treasure
now
indeed.
you've got my head rolling. Now you got my mind moving.
Yes, perhaps this is the perfect time for Zrark to show what he is made of.
Yes,
Oh,
I will steal it all. Yes, perfect.
Also, it looks like we may have, Jeremy, if you're hearing me, a technical glitch with a couple of name tags switched for Little Bunny and Frostbyte.
I'll fix that in a second.
Excellent. And in that case, without further ado, let us hop into our adventure, which, as I foreshadowed, or I suppose just said, your adventure, Bartholomew told you, involves a historian who's been researching defunct and kind of old currencies and the economics of some of the past kingdoms and peoples that have lived in the land of DnDTime. A man by the name of Charles Crumpit. However, in his research, more recently, he's been studying specifically the electrum piece. Now, those of you as citizens of the land of DnDTime are very much aware that the electrum piece is completely out of circulation and not used, and there is no kind of permission or any, it is outlawed throughout the entirety of the land to use the electrum in any kind of type of currency or to even print coinage on that particular type of metal. And so Bartholomew has been pretty concerned with this individual's research of this kind of defunct currency. Perhaps he knows something he doesn't, but regardless, he has sent the four of you to go in and check on this individual and make sure that Mr. Crumpit is safe and sound and that there's nothing wrong with him. And naturally, if he is in any danger, although Bartholomew was certainly vague on that point, why he would be just researching this coin, to make sure that he is, well, kept away from it. So where we begin officially, you are in Central City, outside of his particular apartment building. Apparently, he lives in kind of a suite on the 4th floor of this building. He has the kind of the penthouse, so to speak, of this particular apartment. It's in a pretty well-to-do part of Central City, and yeah, that is where we begin. You walk up the steps to the building, and you reach the 4th floor. You are outside of his door. What would you all like to do?
I'm gonna poke the door with my giant carrot.
All right. You go and kind of tap on the door with your huge metal carrot that you carry around. Was it a little bit rusted, if I remember correctly?
No, I cleaned that off.
Okay. So yeah, you go ahead and poke the door. You knock. You kind of pause for a moment. There's no response from within.
I guess something happened. I don't understand why this guy should be in trouble over looking up old history anyway. But you know what? If we're gonna have to, it seems we're gonna have to do this the hard way.
Fair enough. What do you do, Zrark?
Let's I think let me see. What do I have here? I think I'll just try to cut. I only have scimitars, so just try to slice the door open.
Wait. Let me try something. City guard, open up.
You impersonate the city guard. Go ahead and make a performance check. you guys hear him go, "City Guard, open up." It doesn't change his cadence at all. You are very confident that your ally with you there, Lil Bunny Fufu, is not actually a member of the City Guard. There's continues to be no response from within.
Oh, I'm just simply facepalm in response, and
Well, I did all I could do. Go for it.
well, guess I'm. Well, I got two. I pull out two scimitars in my hand and pow and pow.
All right, roll damage. Without hesitation, Zrark, with two kind of firm chops, you slice into the kind of wood at the door. Your first two hits, they make indents and pretty deep cuts, but I mean, it's a pretty solid wooden door, and it takes you a little while to get through it. But as you're kind of continuing through, I imagine you're going around where like the lock and the handle of the door is.
Yeah, because that's how breaking into houses usually works for me when I have to steal things.
I didn't think that this was what we were gonna do.
Hey, if nobody's home, we might as well break and enter.
As you kind of slowly just cut through and begin working your way through the outside of this lock, like I said, it takes some time. At the end, you're going to have to take a quick whetstone to perhaps both of your scimitars. They're dulled a little bit by the wood, but you cut through and manage to you manage to kind of saw the lock out of the door, essentially the handle, and you kind of reach through and undo the deadbolt, and you are able to enter in. You definitely all kind of make the assumption that this guy either ran or definitely wasn't home, because there's no way he didn't notice. There's no way he didn't notice Zrark sawing through his door in this manner. Yeah, the door opens, and within there is a very low fire in the fireplace. It looks like it's kind of starting to die out, although it was put together somewhat recently. The interior of the space is filled with books, and you can see a few rooms beyond. It seems it moves into living room, kitchen, a washroom of some kinds. But the main kind of foyer where you enter, there's a hallway, and then what appears to be the majority of the space is devoted to a study. There are maps along the wall, all sorts of different scrolls furled out in pretty haphazard patterns. Like I said, the fire roars very dully. It's very warm and very pleasant in the space. Zewxip.
Yes, I actually would like to go over and be by the fire to warm up, but I'd also like to examine the fire ashes and fireplaces while I'm.
What in particular are you looking for?
Well, from what we were told, this is someone who could be delving into, like ancient or like forbidden knowledge or something. No one's here. If the pressure's on, not only can I be warm, but what if I find the remnants of like some documents that were thrown in the fire before dashing out or something along those lines?
Yeah,
look,
absolutely.
when you've sailed on a ship with a bunch of other people, people find creative ways to hide the things that they don't want others to see.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me an investigation check as you're over there, kind of warming yourself up, Susan. Investigation. All right, yeah, you're looking through and you're kind of poking around in the fire. Nothing stands out to you amongst the ashes as being in particularly insignificant, or as being particularly significant, not the other way around, rather. So yeah, you're looking through. No signs of destroyed documents or anything too much out of the ordinary. The fire's low. I'll say one thing that you do catch. There are some drippings that look like metal, kind of some traces along the ground outside the fireplace that aren't too hard to catch. It looks like liquid metal that has been cooled into kind of like droplets and stuff around the outside of it.
Can I pick those up?
They look like they've kind of like sealed themselves, like they were dropped on the ground and then kind of just soldered themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like dried paint. Like dried paint on a wall.
Are there any windows in here?
I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use Frostbyte to put out the fire in the fireplace.
Okay. You're using a spell to do so?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's fairly trivial. The fire, like I said, was burning pretty.
Cantrip, cantrip.
Yeah. You go over.
Old cantrip. So.
Yeah, you go over and put the fire out.
All right.
Hey guys, look at how high we are. I can't even jump this high.
I'm gonna like to see if there's anything.
Deeper within the fireplace?
Yeah. Because now that the fire's out, like
yeah, you can kind of move into the space a little bit. I see what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead and make another make an investigation check. 13. Yeah, you see the kind of same droplets of metal on the ground. Not too much else beyond that. In the corner, you do find what looks like kind of in the back corner of the fireplace, something that looks like a mold, a kind of like steel mold that like blacksmiths use and things like that. The indentations in them are small and kind of circular. It's in the kind of like the back corner underneath a little bit of a pile of ash. What are you guys doing as your Bunny Fufu and Zrark? As you're just kind of
I'm gonna look through the documents and see if there's anything talking about the electrum that he's talking about.
Yeah, you don't even need to make a roll for that because a lot of it does. A ton of the documents there seem to be his own personal notes. Charles Crumpit is a pretty well-known historian. As you're kind of taking in the space, you see a lot of the books on the shelf appear to be his own texts that he has written. And in looking at the documents, they seem to be his notes on Electrum. You see a lot of kind of mention of an individual by the name of King Electrum. Which presumably for whom the medal was named is your guess, but he seems to be doing a lot of research into this time in history. It's all scattered throughout the space.
I really don't understand why he's so addicted to this coin that's not used here.
And as you're kind of looking through, one other thing that you see of note in the space is on the desk. Little Bunny Fufu and Zrark, because Little Bunny Fufu, you were also just kind of like investigating around.
No, I want to look at the windows.
All right, yeah, the windows, they are sealed. It doesn't look like, as you're going through, like he would have kind of gotten out in the short time that you guys, or, medium length time that you guys were kind of breaking into the space. They're closed. The view from his apartment on the higher floors is pretty good. You can see a lot of Central City. They're clean.
Hey guys, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go in the kitchen and make something to eat. You guys want anything?
Nah. I always have my own food with me.
We would appreciate some water, please.
Yeah.
Frostbyte.
Cockroaches.
I don't know what kind of apartment it is. Might have some.
a very good restaurant in town. They have very good cockroaches, and I believe they have rats as well.
Guys, we can talk about food later. Can we get on with this?
I'm hungry.
They passed their health inspection, I assure you.
But, anyway, what do I see on the desk? You said something before you were talking about the windows?
As this conversation is happening, Zrark, you're a bit distracted as the thing that you see on the table. You see what appears to be an electrum piece. The metal, for anyone familiar, is kind of an alloy of gold and silver. It's a mix used to essentially make a cheaper gold. A cheaper gold piece. And you see one of them sitting on the table. It just looks like kind of a dullish silver color, or kind of like a very muted gold with a little touch of gray to it.
Would I be familiar with these pieces being a sailor? Like, have I seen sailors use them, or it's come up in treasure or commerce?
You're, you've heard of it, and you know that electrum is, you know that electrum is an alloy, but throughout the world, these are completely just, these are completely banned, and the creation of coinage or, working with this particular metal is considered, just...
I wonder... So I'm gonna take.
But you are familiar with the idea of it, yeah.
I'm gonna take the coin and I'm gonna look at the mold and I'm gonna try to compare it to the mold.
All right, yeah. You kind of bring over the mold, and it looks like the coin was roughly the same size and shape. It looks like the coin could have been made within that mold. But the mold that you see, the one kind of difference is the mold that you're looking at doesn't have any kind of like intricate carvings on it, and the coin that you're looking at does appear to have like symbols on it.
Hey guys.
I wonder if this guy was trying to replicate Electrum, but what's the point if it's useless everywhere?
And as you're kind of looking at that coin, Zrark, you're looking at you first look at the kind of side that you pick up, which is what you would kind of call, I suppose, the tails side of it. You can see that there is, it just looks like a crest of some kind of like noble house, perhaps. The number on it is just 367, which doesn't really mean a lot to you, as you know, the dating system currently in DnDTime is so much higher and different than that it's like this is either very old or just kind of like was going by a different calendar. And then as you kind of flip it over to the other side has a picture of what appears to be a human man, a heavy beard, crown upon his head, and you can see written on the bottom, what languages do you speak?
I'm checking. Common, Goblin, and Orc.
Okay, and there's a word written underneath it in a language that you are unable to identify. But as you flip that coin over and kind of turn it in your hands, the apartment that you're in begins to rumble and shake. Little Bunny Fufu, you feel like the dishes and the space that you're in, they start to kind of just like rattle while you're trying to cook. You know, you're pouring your glass of water, trying to find some cockroaches.
I found some bread.
Yeah, the bread you do find. Cockroaches' this apartment's pretty clean on the whole. But the ground begins to rumble, and outside it seems like a wind kind of picks up in the space outside of the building, and then that kind of obscures the windows for a time, and when they come to, a bit of a touch of different light is coming through the windows in the apartment that you're at.
What do I say if I look out the window this time?
Hey guys, what was... That's not loud!
And as you look out the window this time, you are at street level, and the buildings across from you are not those of Central City. They appear to be small, very rustic-looking huts. They have thatched roofs and kind of cobble builds. You see a lot of what appear to be just peasants kind of walking around. You see a horse and cart go back, stacked with hay. You can see a few stalls with different vendors and things of the sort. Yeah, it's just a very kind of pleasant-looking medieval town, or very mundane-looking one.
Guys, that's not loud. You're not supposed to have those. Oh yeah, Zewxip, here's your water.
Thank you. We were just... Oh, it was so dry next to that fire. I'm gonna pour it on my feet and suck it up.
Yeah, you instantly see as your kind of some of the outer tendrils begin to revitalize, perhaps grow a centimeter or two.
And
Sorry,
when you say
Frostbyte.
there's a different light, is it because it was like evening when we arrived and now it's a morning sun, or
No,
are
it
we in
seems
like
like-
the light of a red sun or a blue sun or something?
It appears to be more something along the lines of it was kind of getting into the evening, and now it appears to be like afternoon, midday.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go outside and bask.
All right. Yeah, you step outside onto these kind of cobble streets, and they are busy and crowded. The space that you're in, it looks pretty big. While the technology is nowhere near kind of what it was in Central City, this is still very much a medieval city. Some of the buildings are 2 or 3 stories. In the distance, you can see a pretty large castle. There's a general kind of flow of traffic that seems to be moving towards the city center, but there's also a lot of just shopkeepers up and about. As you kind of step out, a lot of people definitely give you some kind of sidelong glances. Most of the people that you see walking past are humans or dwarves or elves. You certainly don't see any of your own kind of kin about here.
As a blossomer, or are we also talking the rabbit folk and the other?
Yeah, I think actually all of you. There's no one around like any of you. You see, like I said, halflings, dwarves, elves, humans, but
So no Entothrope, no
goblins,
Bunnyfolk, no
spider
Goblins.
people, no butterfloat, no bunnyfolk, no.
We are
See,
uncommoners.
Zrark,
We
When
are
you-
completely foreigners here.
when you grab
So
like
everybody is
illegal,
staring at us.
when you grab
That is good
illegal
to know.
things like that, you lose your view.
I don't think that's what's happening. I
That's
don't
what-
know. I honestly don't know what's going on, but where are we?
I think that's exactly what's happening. Do you want some bread?
Fine. I'll just take a slice of bread and just munch on it.
All right, yeah, you begin to eat. Bread's good. It's of a pretty high quality. It must
Yeah,
be
it's good bread.
a good baker, yeah. And you're looking around. An individual kind of calls out to you as you're walking. You see he's just got kind of like a corner street vendor. Strangers, please come here.
I'm gonna. I look very skeptical as I approach this man.
You look like you're a little
Frostbyte
bit
also
lost.
approaches.
Now there is no better way. There's no better way. Pardon me. To cure that than to feel a little bit more at home in your environment. And wouldn't the four of you feel more at home in a fresh set of clothes? And he kind of points up to the sign above him. You see it says it's just called the Stitch. Is the name of the building. It just looks like he's a tailor. He's just trying to sell you guys some stuff. Perhaps a different tunic, something to get you in the spirit of Electrum.
Okay. Well, I'd feel more at home if you answered the question of where the heck are we?
As I said, you're in Electrum. You don't know that coming here. Our city, as it were.
You know what? The voice said that this would be more normal. I feel like all of them are gonna be weird.
And so this is what all this is about. I just show the guy the single Electrum coin in my hand.
He looks at it. A coin, yes. What of it?
It's illegal.
Is this your currency here?
Yes, it is. It's the currency here, yes.
Curious. Say, that gives me an idea. Do you happen to know a guy named Charles Crumpit?
He kind of thinks for a moment. I'm not sure.
Do you know of a wizard by the name of Bartholomew?
Bartholomew. I don't know much about magics. He just kind of looks
Trust
at you.
me,
Perhaps,
you would, if you knew him, you would know him. Guys, I think we aren't in the lands of DnDTime.
Oh dear. Did we get transported into another? I think we got transported into another plane of some sort. It's a plane where Electrum is actually currency here.
I feel like we should get
A
Crixus here. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but, well, at least we know what Charles Crumpit's been doing with all that Electrum stuff.
And as you're saying, Charles Crumpit, the tailor doesn't seem to react to it all that much, but you see a couple of other people kind of look at you with a bit longer glances than they were already casting your way, and kind of give you a wide berth and start to walk hurriedly away. The tailor continues to speak to you. So, like I was saying, perhaps some clothes. You there. I don't know if I have anything with quite so many arms as it would seem that you require, but we can probably whip something up. What do you say?
I wear the official royal garb of the Hive. I
And
do not
perhaps-
require your garments.
You would wish for perhaps a token of haberdashery, perhaps a hat. And he's very kind of concerned with just upselling you guys. What are you doing, all of you?
I'm just gonna intervene with the tailor who's getting a little to his point and be like, look, we don't want anything. We're just looking for a missing person, that's all.
I'll take something.
Okay, he can have something.
Do you have anything that would impress a dragon?
He thinks for a long time.
If dragons are even in this plane.
I think I have just the thing. And he kind of turns around and shuffles back into his shop. He's kind of gone for a moment. And as he returns, you see he's carrying what appears to be, it appears to just be a very nice kind of cloth cloak, but the way it's kind of woven has the pattern, it's in a very bright flamboyant red, and it has almost like a patterning of scales on the outside of it in the stitching. It's certainly just made of like cotton or whatever, silk, whatever the kind of local material is, but it looks a little bit like scales. And he hands it to you. What do you think? I've stitched this with a great deal of intricate work was put into making this.
I don't usually make a custom of wearing the processed skin of my own species, but I must say that you did an excellent job with their remains. I may be tempted to buy and wear these remains.
The way he said that made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he looks at you, kind of dumbfounded, and then once again his salesman face comes back. Well, great, we have a sale then. That will be 10 electrum pieces.
And then I look to myself, realizing I have the only electrum piece in the party.
Oh, how about this
pieces.
then? I would love to be able to give you 10 electrum pieces, but as I don't wear clothes, I don't have pockets. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it, my dear? Now, what I can do for you is, well, we have some errands to do around town, and why don't I take this lovely set of remains, I will put it on and strut around town looking absolutely wonderful and tell everyone that this was your handiwork, and that you can strip, dye, and weave dead plant matter like no one else.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check. Yeah, go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
All right, would I be able to accent that maybe with friends?
Yeah.
I'll help.
I'd say,
Yeah,
and
think of it like
while we're at it,
advertising.
can you give me some, well, I don't, all right.
All right.
Oh, he's casting the spell.
Oh, that just happens. So you just have advantage on it. So 16. He looks at you, kind of looks you up and down for a while.
You like what you see? You'll
you
see no one else
certainly-
like this.
You certainly would draw a lot of attention. All right, I'll tell you what. 2 electrum deposit, and we have a deal.
Well,
I'm
we
gonna
don't
look
have,
over.
but we don't have any electrum. But we do have some gold.
Actually, I have the only electrum piece here. I show
Uh,
him the only electrum piece that I have.
As you say that, Frostbyte, he looks at you and his face kind of turns to the side. Gold.
I pull out like a couple gold pieces to show him. Like,
perhaps we can conduct business on another day. And you see him hurriedly just kind of like pulling his kind of tools and stuff kind of off the counter. And he kind of closes down like an overhead shutter in front of the counter that he's standing on, kind of closing his shop up. Good day. Best of luck to you all. And just shuts down the shop almost immediately and with a panicked look on his face as soon as you kind of...
Did he take the dress back, or am I still hanging on to it and he just shut himself in?
You're still hanging on to it and he just shut himself into the shop.
Hey, Frostbyte, I think you're holding something that's illegal.
Wait, guys, hear me out. What if we're in an alternate plane where electrum's the only legal currency and everything else in our world is illegal?
You see over in the corner, there's a couple of citizens that are now kind of like pointing at you, and they're speaking to a couple of miscellaneous-looking like town guardsmen. It seems they are. They're kind of carrying swords. They have some simple leather armor on.
Guys, we better book it. I just point to the guards over there.
Yeah, I think we should bounce.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna quickly book it. I just quickly book it with the.
Just ducking and just kind of running away.
Yep.
Just going for like a side alley, or what's your kind of play?
Whatever nearby, anything nearby that I can hide in.
All right, you kind of immediately hop and get off the streets as you're moving away. Does everyone just kind of follow suit? Are you all moving with Zrark?
I'm trying to put this dress on. Clothes are kind of a weird thing for me.
I'm gonna go ahead and approach the guard and say, "Excuse me, but can you tell me what the what's going on here?
All right.
I'm
I'm
afraid I'm a
standing-
stranger here.
I'm
Like,
standing there
with
looking
the
for a response to my joke.
For for starters, Zewxip, make me an acrobatics check to put on your dress, as this is a feat of acrobatics for you. Yeah, it takes you a little bit, but you manage to get it on. It's certainly not what you're accustomed to, because I believe normally your clothes just kind of grow off of your own body.
The next time I die, I'll have to have my husk woven into something beautiful like this.
And you're waiting for little Bunny Fufu. You're just kind of looking around expectantly. And Frostbyte, you go over to the guards, and as you approach, they kind of look at you. You there? What is your name?
I am Frostbyte. I hail from the kingdom known as the Hive.
Yes. They kind of turn and look down to the kind of citizen that was speaking to them and kind of pointing at you, and they've kind of like taken a step back and are kind of moving away timidly. I understand that you're carrying gold pieces.
Yes, it is one of the official currencies of the Hive, though the gold pieces there are known by a different name, but I won't go into the nitty-gritty details.
The other guard kind of looks over him and he just goes, "Two so brazen in one day." The other one kind of looks back. "We'll need you to come with us." And both of them go and kind of put their hands on your shoulders pretty firmly.
Alright. What exactly am I to understand that I am under arrest for something that I was not aware was illegal, or is this more of an explanation?
And they begin kind of walking you. Are you like resisting their movement?
No, I'm not really, because I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
All right. They
As
begin
they're
kind of
messing
walking
this.
you away, and they go, "Possessing a contraband."
I was not aware it was contraband. I do not even know how it came into your land. Last time I checked, I was somewhere else, and then suddenly I was in your land.
Oh,
Is
this
it
is wonderful.
pulled here
Take
by
us to your
magic?
leader.
And he's kind of, they're kind of walking you along. Well, perhaps you should have done a bit more research before you walked into the realm of the Mad King. And he kind of stops himself, and the other guard kind of looks at him and just smacks him on the shoulder and just goes, "Before you walked into the domain of the good King Electrum." And
I was not aware that Central City was the realm of good King Electrum.
he keeps just kind of, they're just walking you now, just kind of ignoring a lot of your words. That's your misfortune, not ours.
Wow, my joke derailed harder than a train
Oh,
jump
good
last
King
week.
Electrum sounds like a wonderful fellow. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah,
The one of the guards kind of.
yeah, you get
You'll meet
it.
him soon. Oh, are you guys there, just kind of like following along, like commenting for the?
I'm not. I'm still hiding. Actually, I'm doing something else entirely.
I'm
Yeah.
hanging with Zewxip. He seems
Sure.
like a nice guy. We're gonna be friends.
Zrark, you're kind of like following along then from like a distance, like ducking in between alleys and stuff.
Yeah, is the house that Crumpit is still there? Like,
Um,
or is it just
Yeah.
gone?
the house is still there. Yeah, it's still kind of where it was.
Yeah, I want to run back into that house and look for something important.
All right, what are you looking for?
I want to look for, because since I probably overheard what those guards are saying, I want to look over the books that said something about King Electrum on it.
All right, you begin grabbing just kind of like the first scroll that you can, and there's so much material here. There's a lot to kind of read through, so you're just kind of picking and choosing, just arbitrarily, really. Go ahead and make me an intelligence check. I assume you're just picking something up and just trying to learn.
Just straight intelligence.
I'll let you make an investigation if you're proficient in it.
Yeah, I'm proficient in that.
Yeah,
there
sure,
you
go
go. Boom.
Okay, yeah, you actually get a little bit of a gist of this individual. And from your kind of little bit of research that you get, like I said, it's only bare minimum because you're just kind of browsing right now. You pick up that the Mad King Electrum was an ancient tyrant in the Land of DnDTime who For one thing, completely outlawed the use of gold and silver, collected all riches unto himself, and smelted it all into his own currency and his likeness, and was just a very brutal tyrant. Zewxip, a little bunny Fufu, Frostbyte's being like walked away and brisked away down like the central thoroughfare, where a lot of people actually seem to be moving.
Oh, I'm scurrying behind, saying, "Take me to your lead."
They kind of look at you suspiciously, and you get the impression that they want to bring you as well anyway. And your lack of resistance is very kind of makes it easy on them. So they're just kind of walking you guys now towards, like I said, this central thoroughfare, and you see more and more people gathering, and the space is getting dense. They eventually kind of get the four of you. There's a kind of a big square with a stage set up, and you see towards the back of it, in this much more crowded space, there's a stage and what looks like a number of guillotines set up upon the stage. Additionally, you can see higher up behind it what looks like kind of stadium seating, and it's in the kind of the beautiful finery of nobility. There's like very beautiful silks and a nice couch upon which you see sitting a number of nobles, but the one in the kind of central and largest throne, an individual that must be the good King Electrum. His kind of has the same kind of long beard, and you see he wears a crown that seems to be made entirely of the material. His beard, which is braided in a few points, has different like braces around it that are also made of electrum. He has kind of very gaudy rings you see from a distance.
Oh, hey guys, looks like there's gonna be a show. I'm gonna go find the seats.
And you see four people. See four people up on the stage. Zrark, you've kind of hurried to catch up, I will assume.
No, I actually, can I? Is it possible to climb up to the rooftops, or are these buildings too high?
Yeah, I'll say that you'll be there in a little bit, and I'll need you to make me
an acrobatics check, or athletics.
Probably athletics, yeah, for that one. And you'll be getting there just a little bit later than everyone else, since you kind of doubled back to grab that scroll and learn a little bit.
Yep.
Can I, like, jump into the stands to try and find the seats? Looks like it's gonna be a good show.
There are no stands, save for the ones that, like, the nobility are kind of, save for the ones that the nobility are kind of sitting in. Are you trying to get into those stands? Because they seem pretty well guarded.
No, I guess I'll just find the little building.
Okay, yeah, you find a nice, there's a nice kind of like stall that you can get on to get a good view.
I just hop up.
Frostbyte, they begin moving you over to a side corner where you see there's a few more guards in attendance. And another striking thing you note, you see there are a few people kind of hands bound behind their backs with rope, kind of like kneeling on the stage. And among them, you see a few kind of miscellaneous... You see a few miscellaneous kind of peasants, but you also see a very bookish-looking individual with kind of reading glasses, and dressed in kind of like dressed in an Argyle vest, and wearing just kind of a lot of the trappings that are completely different, more clothing that would be common in Central City, not in wherever you are, where a lot of the people are just wearing kind of like simple tunics and pantaloons. What about you, Zewxip? What are you up to as you're kind of moving into the square?
I'm gonna be waving, winking, just sort of putting out a good positive vibe.
Okay, fair enough. Making sure you do your job on your shirt.
Oh, I'm in a beautiful dress, and I made a promise to that clothier.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna lean down to some of the people below me and be like, "Hey, look, they get to be in the play. That seems like a golden opportunity."
A couple of them look up at you, and at the kind of the mention of the word golden, a lot of them kind of scowl and just kind of like step away from you a touch. Not a lot of people with good senses of humor here, it would seem.
Well, I guess I really don't have much of a silver tongue.
Oh my god, you're killing us so funny.
The
Sorry.
Zrark, who's now kind of climbed up on top of the building above
Oh, right.
you.
I need to make an athletics check, right?
Yeah, I need to, yeah, I forgot. I thought you. Oh, he's looking at that one from before. Yeah, 10's enough to get you up onto a rooftop.
Yeah, I wanted to get on a vantage point as I see what looks like an execution scene about to unfold.
Yeah, and you also see what looks like it may be Charles Crumpit there upon the stage. Frostbyte, you're brought over to a section where there are a few more guards, and the guard kind of looks over. Got another one for you. And just kind of points at you, Frostbyte, as the guards go to kind of maneuver you and presumably put you on the stage with the other people about to be executed.
Wait, am I being executed for offering a gold piece?
No, you're being executed for possession of contraband.
But I do not know that it was contraband. Had I known, I would have.
And that's why I said it was your
proper
misfortune,
authorities.
not ours. And they're now just kind of brushing you and kind of pushing you forward up onto the stage.
As he gets
Don't
on the
want to make an
stage,
enemy of the hive, my good sir. We far outnumber you.
There's one that's kind of like, those two that have escorted you have kind of stepped back, and some of the other ones in the space are like, one of them kind of goes, yeah, we've heard it 1,000 times. Yeah, go on.
as he gets on the stage, little bunny Fufu is gonna cheer. That's my partner!
And the guards are now looking at you kind of suspiciously, and a few are over there. But as all this is happening, you watch as a figure, he's dressed in kind of long robes of the same kind of electrum color, kind of steps out, and he just calls them, "Good people of Electrum!" And the crowd kind of falls relatively silent in this moment. We have for you today penance, as ordered by our good king. And he gestures up behind the stage to the individual in the crown who kind of looks up. Yes, on with it. We have penance in the form of these who have committed crimes against the city, against our king, and against their people.
I'd like to point out that I am not of your people.
He kind of, you're kind of like put up on the stage now. They go to like bind your hands at this point. Are you going to react at all to this?
I would like to. We're up on a stage, right? Kind of on the chopping block area.
He's up on the stage because he was brought up there. You're kind of amongst the crowd. Little Bunny Fufu's up on top of like an awning a little bit back, and Zrark's on the roof, not too far away. You guys are all aware of each other's positions. Charles Crumpit's up on the stage next to Frostbyte.
Okay. What I would like to do, if I'm in the crowd, I'm not going to be like the old lady from Princess Bride going boo, boo. I would like to walk forward to the stage and use a gust in order to kind of give a little bit of a hop up onto the stage. Maybe flash my, well, I don't know. I kind of have a stocky body. I'm a vegetable. But give a little bit of, I guess, a Marilyn Monroe to everyone in this fancy red dress, and pronounce to the other people who are gathered here, penance, no, you must mistake us for play actors. You see, we're here in order to perform a moral lesson to you all, in order to support the policies that this land clearly upholds. And you can tell by our skill that we have been professionals. You have seen just what can happen. Isn't that right, our good and dear king?
The king kind of leans forward to kind of look down at you. He's kind of squinting through his beard. That kind of robed figure who was up on the stage begins calling out, looking around. Who has allowed this heretic onto the stage? But the king's kind of laser focused on you. Go ahead and make me a performance check. This feels like I'll let you choose between performance or deception. Both of them feel right here. All right. Yeah, you've definitely gotten the attention of some of the people who are kind of watching. Some of them are now looking sort of confused, and the king kind of who's leaning forward to you, eyeing you sort of curiously.
Would you pluck this beautiful flower before her natural time has come? Or would you allow her to sing to you a ballad from our lands about the woes of possessing too much currency and the problems that come? I don't know what they want from me.
His
It's
eyes
like
kind of widen and he scowls as you say this next
it's
thing.
like the more money we come across, the more problems we see.
And
it is obviously the wrong kind of currency.
I'll let you make me one more. This I would say. This I will say, make a persuasion check. This is more for the people, but the king at this point, he looks disgusted with your statement. But you see a few of the individuals.
We have too much of the wrong kind of currency.
You see a few kind of individuals in the crowd just kind of call out. You hear one just, yes, more money, more problems. And a couple other ones around the space. Yeah, more money, more problems. A few people kind of call this out. The kind of cloaked, the robed figure goes, silence, silence, all of you, guards.
Little Bunny Fufu says, more money, more problems.
Kind of. Calls out more money, more problems. As this kind of chant begins to build up a little bit in the space, the guards are beginning to kind of mobilize, and you see the kind of robed figure just kind of point and gesture towards you, Zewxip, as guards begin to kind of walk across the stage towards you. The king. The king just kind of looks down at the group of you. He looks to the robed figure, and he just kind of, just a simple phrase, just all of them. And the guards, with another snap of the fingers from the robed finger, begin to like snap into action and begin getting kind of quick and violent. The two that are closest move one of the civilians over to the guillotine. Immediately, it looks like Charles is. Only a couple away in line to be next.
Little Bunny Fufu is going to lean down to anyone who's still near him and say, looks like those actors have good head off their shoulders.
Performance.
I can hear your punch from here.
With advantage because of the state of the crowd.
What?
I was saying, make a performance check with advantage.
Because of your pun.
And... this time, people seem to be loosening up a little bit in this kind of frustration that they definitely already all had for this king, and a couple of them actually do chuckle, despite the kind of fear, the kind of group confidence giving them strength in this moment. But I think at this point, you guys to roll for initiative is
actually before. Can I
make friends like this?
Can I initiate a surprise round before this begins, since I'm currently
absolutely. You've just been up at the top, just kind of silently waiting. You can take an action before things get too crazy.
Because let me just roll my initiative first. Okay. And I go first anyway, so probably, but... is there a specific executioner, or are there multiple guards in
there are a few guards. There's one that appears to be the executioner.
Are they
one that's kind of manning the guillotine.
Well, so I'm going to, as a bonus action, Hunter's Mark him, and then I fire my shot. I fire the shot.
All right, go ahead.
And I assume I have advantage because I'm stealthed.
Yeah, absolutely. At the executioner specifically.
Yeah, at the person at the guillotine, just to interrupt the entire show and make everyone gasp in fear.
All right, go ahead and make me an attack roll with advantage. 18 definitely hits. Roll damage on that.
I'm just making sure. I have to roll an additional...
D6 afterwards, yes.
Yep. 6 plus an additional D6. 4. So that's 10 damage.
Little Bunny Fufu falls asleep.
Well, wait.
You fall asleep in the middle of combat. It's not even your turn yet.
This is important to Little Bunny Fufu's character.
Fair enough. You fire. Oh yes, of course. You fire your short bow shot. How could I forget? Across the kind of square. It strikes kind of right at the vital point, right in the neck of the guy that's operating the guillotine. And you see he was getting ready to kind of pull the lever. The guards had put the head of that civilian down into the little indent in the chopping block, and before he's able to kind of let go of the string, or to kind of rather pull it down and release it, he falls over dead upon the ground, slain in one strike by your arrow. The king just kind of stands up. A few guards kind of go over and move next to him. You watch as Charles kind of stands up off of his knees and is looking around. He's looking to you. He's looking to you on the stage, Zewxip, with kind of like a little bit of a pleading look on his eyes, recognizing the Land of DnDTime and you, as all of you kind of saw in him. And we are now in initiative. The guards are all kind of rushing and kind of swarming the stage.
Okay. But I assume it's still my turn, so...
I'm gonna roll for them. The collected court assembled. Yeah, it's still your turn.
Okay, instead of, I'm gonna keep my Hunter's Mark concentrated, even though I don't have a target yet. But what I'm going to do as a bonus action, since the guards are all heavily grouped together, I'm going to cast Hail of Thorns as a bonus action, and then fire my short bow into a group of guards. And if I hit a guard, there has to be a dexterity save.
Yep. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Well, give me a second. Turn off advantage because I'm not. There's a 13 hit.
A 13 does not hit the guard AC, unfortunately. You see all of them are wearing kind of like a reasonable amount of armor. You see a lot of electrum accents on said armor, which isn't the best material for armor, but it seems they're using mostly that as their metal.
Well then. That's unfortunate. In that case... I'll just end my turn taking cover on the rooftop.
Alright, you kind of duck down and get behind cover on the slant of the roof. The next initiative is the guards, and just kind of the assembled masses. You watch as the first arrow flies and the executioner falls. The civilians in the space, a lot of them kind of begin to flee, but you also see a number of them who are kind of shouting out, picking up this mo money, mo problems rallying cry, are kind of getting ready and getting a little bit violent and beginning to riot against the guards in the space. So the majority of them are kind of occupied now with defending themselves and protecting the king. However, two of them kind of walk over towards you, Zewxip, and are going to attempt, one of them is going to help the other one attempt to grapple you. So that is an 18. That was with advantage. Athletics. You can contest with acrobatics or athletics. That is not going to do it. They kind of grab onto your shoulders and begin briskly. I assume you're resisting their movement, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, they begin kind of like dragging you over towards the guillotine. At the end of your turn, you're like in front of it, but they don't have you like your head down in it yet. Although it's not that far off from where you are. Definitely a precarious position. That is for the rest of the turn. You watch as a couple more guards are kind of streaming over from the left side of the stage and going over towards the other people that were kind of up for execution and getting ready to see to it that this execution goes on as planned. There's 4 guards in total on the stage. The rest of them are occupied with kind of protecting the king and keeping the mob from being too unruly. That is going to be Zewxip. The turn is yours. You're being kind of held in place. What do you do?
I forget offhand, does grapple disable somatic components to spells?
No, it only disables movement, so you just can't move at the moment.
How far away is the king in the stands?
The king up in the stands, he's maybe a little bit above you and about 20 feet. Horizontally is pretty close. It looks like he wanted to be right up in the action.
Okay. And now, it would seem that the curtain falls! And I'm going to cast a fog cloud on the king, It would be a shame, as anyone can do anything in that cloud and not be seen. Oh, King, I hope that you're endeared to your people and they'll protect you. Wink.
Oh dear.
All right. That is, I really like that. All right. I'm gonna have you roll. I'm gonna have you roll persuasion. This is gonna be contested roll. Persuasion versus the King's intimidation, which he's pretty good at. But I'll give this a shot. Ooh. Oh! All right. You create a fog cloud over the King, and just as you are unable to, just as you have said, you even are unable to see what goes on within. But you have you've done something, certainly. There's definitely a lot of commotion going on in that space now that the fog cloud has appeared. Anything else on your turn, Zewxip? You still have a bonus action, or you still have a bonus action.
Rallying cries to the people, as I've already provided an opportunity. I trust in the people, perhaps unlike this king.
All right. In that case, that is going to bring us to Little Bunny Fufu.
Blood! Let's have the blood!
All right.
God.
As soon as you see that executioner take the arrow, something changes over. What do you do?
Come, my cat, we will fly!
30 feet horizontally. That puts you right up on the stage. You just crash down onto the stage. You're right up. Either you can be next to any of the people on the stage that you care about.
I'm just gonna attack from the air!
Are you going? There's two guards that are kind of over where Frostbyte is, and two that are over where.
Whoever is closest, they must die!
All right, that would be Zewxip. Go ahead and swing away. Is this a reckless attack, perchance?
Oh, yes.
It sounded like one. 19's absolutely going to hit. Roll damage on that.
Must bathe in their blood!
10 points of damage. You smash the carrot down on the individual on the stage, and you just... piercing... you stab through. You impale them upon the carrot. Zewxip, there's only one individual now grappling you.
Oh, their blood! Lift the body above! Bathe in it!
You bathe in it, and some of the people that were kind of like hopping up in that part of the stage to go after the king, a couple of them are kind of like, maybe we'll let this guy handle it, and anything else on your turn?
I'll release some of the water I drank earlier.
Okay.
I picked my target. It's going to die soon.
That's gonna bring us then to Frostbyte. What do you wish to do? There's two guards right up near you. They're not focused on you right now. They're actually more focused on Charles, because he was just next in line.
Let's see.
Keep in mind that your hands ended up being bound.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to do anything about that.
Oh, so much.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm currently bound. I wonder if I can do.
What do you think?
I was just checking that. I'm just checking to see. Now I'm just checking to see if I can do anything with my hands bound. Let's see. I can't cast any spells, so I guess my first action is going to be to try and free myself.
The bindings, they were done kind of hastily in kind of getting you up on the stage at kind of the last second. They're not super difficult. Be DC 10 acrobatics to sleight of hand to get out, or strength to kind of wiggle them enough to get out. Either one of those. Strength, athletics, or dexterity sleight of hand.
I'll try sleight of hand.
Wait, you have extra arms. This is
Yes.
why you have extra arms. I forgot. They didn't bind all your arms. There's no way they had enough time. I forgot that. you had 8 arms.
Well then.
You have enough, and you can use those arms to use somatic components on spells, so you're actually good if you want to cast a spell.
Yes. Okay. Well then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast infestation on one of the guards.
Yeah, he's going to make a Constitution saving throw, right?
Yep.
They have no bonus to that. That's 5 points of poison damage, and they run in a random direction.
Yep.
If they get a 1, 2, or a 3, that random direction will be off the stage.
And hopefully falls flat on his face and kills himself.
They run straight backwards up into the stands, over to where the over towards where the king is.
And the fog cloud.
Yeah, into the fog cloud. As one of them
covered in bugs.
Just oh god, and they're in an absolute panic as we move back to the top of the initiative.
I told you not to mess with the hives.
Zrark, what do you do? Zrark?
Zrark, our goblin ranger friend.
We can't hear you, so we will move to the guard's turn and come back to you when you're here, Max. In that case, the guards, the one that's still near you, Zewxip actually is just completely ignoring you, Zewxip, because you've been pretty passive, all things considered, compared to Bunny Fufu, and they're just going to go ahead and try and stab you, Bunny Fufu. They have advantage because of the reckless attack. It's a 15.
I dodge.
Oh, that misses you?
Clink against my armor.
You monster! Yeah, the stab kind of comes in and just hits the armor, and they're just looking at you, kind of terrified.
You will be next.
As they kind of look up, they see the body of your friend hanging off of your sword. They like stab you, and it just does nothing. And they kind of look at you. They drop their weapon and run, provoking an opportunity attack foolishly. Seven, unfortunately, is going to miss. He just begins ducking and running.
Just reckless.
I don't think you can use it on an opportunity attack. I think it's only on your turn, which I will rule. If you want to look it up for the next time, though, go ahead and do that. And the other 2 guards, there's one over near you. Frostbyte was 2 over near you. The one that was kind of covered in bugs, the bugs kind of fall off. He pushes off all of the spiders that were crawling over his skin as he runs back over to you, and the other is going to attack you as well, seeing that now that you are a mage and not just like a peasant that can be kind of manhandled. Both of them are going to attack you with their swords. Both of those are at a +4. What? Did that happen? Yep. That is a 23. That is a 23 and a 16.
Both hit.
Okay. That's going to be 13 points of piercing damage as they stab into you with their short swords. Are you still up?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, both of them, they kind of catch you, and one of them kind of calls out as they stab into you, "For King Electrum!" That's all for their turn. And then the collected battle, the crowds against the civilians.
Did I get a turn yet, or was my skip?
You got skipped because we were talking for you and you weren't responding.
Oh, my bad.
You can go now if you want.
The guards, you see that the guards are being very quickly overtaken by just the massive peasants here. A few guards you see just get steamrolled over, and then the peasants are just trampling up onto the stage towards your fog cloud, Zewxip. You see that. So yeah, you'll just go in just a second, Zrark. You see that Charles kind of looks over to you, Zewxip, and just goes, "Can we get out of here?"
Yes, I believe that we may.
Through my apartment. Did you come through my apartment?
If we can get back. I don't know how we arrived here, except it was through your place. Come.
All right. In that case, Zrark, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna, since Frostbyte just took quite the beating, I'm going to Hunter's Mark to get my hunter's mark back on one of the guards attacking him.
All right.
And is it possible for me to leap off of the roof and attempt to, like, jump attack him?
You don't have the jump distance to make it. What's your strength score?
0.
Yeah, you do not have the strength score to make that jump. You can jump and do like a flying strike, or but
no, I'll just stay.
I'm no damage when you come down.
Never mind. I won't do that. I'm going to instead shoot my short bow, and I still have little thorns in effect, so any nearby guards will have to make a DC.
Yeah.
Saving throw.
Absolutely.
So here's Hunter's Mark on the Hunter's Mark guard. Ouch.
Yep.
4 plus D6, and let me see. The Hail of Thorns is a saving throw, which is
they're gonna make dexterity saving throws. They have no innate bonuses to that.
DC 12 or take 10.
There's 2 of them there. Oh god, both of them fail. Both of them fail. The Hail of Thorns. Actually, I think you also, Frostbyte, have to make a saving throw against that.
Yeah. Sorry, Frostbyte. This is for the ouch. Oops.
Oh. Frostbyte, the guards around you both go down, and I think so do you.
I am unconscious.
Your Hail of Thorns explodes into space, Zrark. The two guards are taken down instantly by the outpouring. It's a very good roll for damage on that. However, so does your ally Frostbyte.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, I'm just gonna look on him like, oh crap.
That's going to, I believe, bring us to Zewxip.
So I was being asked by Mr. Crumpit to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not being restrained because the other guard is distracted by
the other guard cut and run away from Bunny Fufu, and the guard that was restraining you originally is impaled on Bunny Fufu's sword.
Okay. Then I will concentrate to keep my fog cloud going, and I will. I guess I can give the aid action to Crumpit in order to help him get out of there.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna go over. You can. I'll say for that aid action, you go over and just like take him out of his hand. He has bindings on his hands. Do you just remove him from his bindings?
Oh yeah, sure. I didn't know if he was going to be attacked on the way, so I could give him or give attackers disadvantage or whatever. But yeah, I'll free him up while concentrating on fog, and we'll start hightailing it back to his.
Isn't Frostbite unconscious though? I'll have to heal him or somehow.
Yep. Frostbite is currently unconscious. The guards that are kind of in the immediate vicinity, most of them are still kind of going after the king. But you sort of hurry back. You sort of begin scuffling out of the crowd with Crumpit. It's a little bit hard, kind of like bullying your way through, as a lot of the citizens are either in a panic running away or trying to get up onto the stage themselves, and a lot have at this point, as it's becoming kind of polluted with people in this moment of chaos. But you push out with Crumpit, helping them and keeping them from getting bustled around too much, and you guys begin working your way out. Everyone, maybe except for little Bunny Fufu, blind in your rage, sees Zewxip and Crumpit kind of working their way back. You definitely hear the sound of an intense clash of blades over near where King Electrum is currently. That's going to bring us... I'm sorry, do you have anything else on your turn? Zewxip?
No, that was everything.
Okay. That would then bring us to Little Bunny Fufu.
You think you can get away? You can't get away. Give me your blood.
Most of the guards here are in the fog cloud. Are you just gonna go and just start cutting things down in the pile?
Let's go fishing.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll it would be with disadvantage, but it sounds, well, actually no, it would be negated by the fact that both of you, because they can't see you. So just make me an attack with advantage for reckless, if you're doing reckless. Damage.
My god.
Just come up! Stack them up! Stack them up!
Another guard is dead. Frostbite, I need you to make me a death save.
Is Frostbite being carried? Question.
Frostbyte is not being carried. Frostbyte is just on the stage. You have one success, which brings us to the top of the initiative as the kind of flee away from here begins. Zrark?
Is it possible for me to climb down to not take falling damage and reach Frostbyte?
Yeah, if you kind of move slowly, I'll say it takes your you can either make a check and get to Frostbyte in one turn and still do something, or you can do it slowly and not
I'm
take
assuming
falling damage.
athletics or acrobatics or something.
Yeah, acrobatics check.
Okay, acrobatics check it is.
Alright, that's not going to get you there. You end up taking 6 points of falling damage as you crash down onto the ground, not necessarily all that nimbly, but you make it over to Frostbyte.
Yeah, but I can't use an action.
Nope,
so...
you can still use an action because it wasn't about whether or not you succeeded, it was just whether or not you take falling damage.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on Frostbyte to instantly heal him.
Alright, yeah, Frostbyte, you are back up, and to whatever health he rolls here.
You
six.
take six points of health back.
And it's your turn.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell him, come on, Frostbyte, we gotta get out of here.
Alright, but one thing to cover, I'm just going to make sure I cover our retreat by casting Fog Cloud.
Yes, second Fog Cloud. Are you just like taking it over the over the crowd?
Yeah. Like over the stage. No, I'm putting it like over the stage where we are.
Oh, okay, cool. So that way it's not noticed when you kind of get out, and you begin to kind of sneak away in this utter pandemonium that the collective group of you have now created. Battle cries of more money, more problems. You book it out. The only one kind of remaining in the chaos, I think, is Little Bunny Fufu. But the three of you, between the fog clouds and just the space that the terrible chaos you've created, are able to kind of get out of the crowd and move away from the action and catch your breath eventually with Charles Crumpit. Bunny Fufu, is it just fight? Is it just fight until death? What's your play?
As much blood as I can get!
Go ahead and I just want you to roll me a d20 since we're kind of wrapping up. Just roll me a d20 to see how well you do on the whole. Oh, Jesus.
You die instantly is what I'm going to assume.
Little Bunny Fufu, as you're just kind of you're kind of swinging through and just stabbing chaotically with your carrot. There's definitely a few guards that fall to the swings, but before long, blades that you barely feel in your bloodlust, and you fall asleep once more in perhaps a slightly more permanent fashion.
Wake up somewhere else.
And you'll be waking up somewhere else soon. You did manage to get through. Right at the end, you saw just a huge pile of peasants that had climbed up and were swarming and climbing over King Electrum. That was the blood battle that you really wanted to get in on. However,
that battle was not won by you, unfortunately.
That battle does look like it was going to be won, but perhaps not specifically by you. Eventually, the three of you kind of regroup alongside of Charles, and he's kind of catching his breath. My house is here somewhere.
I remember where it is. I had to read up on a lot of stuff just to understand what was going on.
Do you have the coin? Do you have the coin that I gave you or that you found?
Yeah, I hold it up to him.
May I have that back?
Yeah, I give it to him.
All right. He walks you back to the house. There's the streets now are pretty bare as you're walking back amongst them. No one's like kind of walking to and fro. He returns into his apartment, and as soon as you get in, you see he gets kind of a hammer and piton, and goes over to the coin and just begins smacking the coin with a hammer until it shatters and breaks in half, and with another kind of quick kind of jostling an earthquake, another gust of wind, the apartment seems to return to its previous state. It is now kind of a bit later into the night as you kind of regroup in Crumpit's apartment. He looks at you. How did you all know I was there?
We did. I just looked at the coin and suddenly we were there.
No, how did you know to come find me?
Bartholomew asked us to come check on you because I didn't understand why he'd be concerned over electrum pieces. But then I just looked at the coin, and then we ended up here.
Yes, I experienced something similar. Well, I owe my life to all of you. I cannot thank you enough. I don't have much. I don't have much to give, but he hands each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks. There was another of your companions as well. Please see that he gets this, Zewxip. He hands you an extra 100 for little bunny Fufu. All of you gain 1 point of experience, and before long, you find yourselves back within Bartholomew's shop.
I'll be sure to do so. Unfortunately, he's not the first rabbit-kind friend that I've lost.
Don't worry. The contract we signed when we joined up with Bartholomew ensures that if we die, we will be brought back.
That's one of the reasons why I work for him as I do. And I look down to my casting implement, which is in fact a Bunnyfolk foot.
All I can say is be careful of the past. It'll sure haunt you.
And
so that was the past, I take it, not a different kingdom altogether.
It probably was a different kingdom. It was just that he was banished in the past.
He kind of he looks at you. The past, indeed, a dark one that perhaps I should stay away from. But with that, questions aside, I believe that's going to conclude our first adventure of the evening. Nicely played, all of you. You guys did some stuff I did not see coming and circumvented some challenges in a major way. Nicely played there. I was also a big fan of the Mo Money, Mo Problems. Yeah, you guys are back at the